This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, April 21st. No other day like it, and we're certainly grateful that you took time to tune in on a Saturday morning. As we always do here at Wall Street Raw and at my website, vrtrader.com, we try to bring you up to speed on the market conditions, individual recommendations, of course, and strategy. And in doing that, we also bring on board some great guests, and we have a whole lineup for you on this Saturday morning. Ray Merriman, Don VIALOUX are in the green room here. Will join us in just a moment. Eric Haddock is going to be joining us later, along with Henry Weingarten, Harry Boxer, and my good friend Sinclair. So I can barely catch my breath. We got so many guys to talk to this morning. So let's get started. My good friend Ray Merriman is on the line, and I've known Ray for several decades. He's the president of Merriman Market Analyst, and he does monthly, weekly, and daily reports using a combination of technical analysis and geocosmic studies. Good morning, Ray. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mark. Pleasure to be with you again.
Oh, great. So let's get to it. I mean, basically, we had the big sell-off in February. Some say it was a canary in the coal mine warning that a bear market was starting. Others feel it's just a correction in a bull market. Well, how do you read the market here on an intermediate basis?
Well, I like that secondary bottom that formed on April 2nd. As long as that holds, I think the market looks very good for the next till August, give or take 2 months, and then I get a little concerned after that.
Okay. Sell may go away, doesn't come into play this year. For you, it's more after August.
If it breaks that low of April 2nd, I think we're going to go down. If that happens, I think we'll go down into late May, early June, but I still have market timing signals I use to suggest a top August of this year, give or take 2 months, and then a more substantial decline.
The gold bugs are really frustrated with all the bad news, literally, stretching from Syria to North Korea to the attacks on Donald Trump and so forth. Gold doesn't seem to be able to break out above that 2016 high, nor silver. Any feeling there?
Yes, the key I've got is 1375. If it can break 1375 on a closing basis, I think it's a straight shot up to $1,500, give or take $25. However, I'm also concerned about the dollar cycle, indicating it could be in an up move here that could last maybe 2 to 5 weeks, maybe 2 to 5 months. And I think that's going to put pressure on gold. And if so, you could see gold fall back to $1,200, $1,250. But I'm still optimistic of gold long term. I think we're still going to see $1,500, give or take $25 in the not too distant future.
Ray, if our listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Go right to my website, MMAcycles.com.
That's MMAcycles.com. Ray, thank you again for joining us. Ray Merriman from Merriman Market Analysis, and we'll get you back on the show real soon. Thanks again, Ray.
You're welcome, Mark. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. And my good friend Don VIALOUX is on board, and thank you, Don, for being patient. We got a jam-packed show here. And Don is the blogger, creator of EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca, and gives us the Canadian perspective every week when he can. Don, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Well, off air, we talked briefly about uranium. Let's start with that one right away. We seem to be just beginning a move here in some of those uranium stocks and ETF.
Yes, stocks like Cameco, the ETF URA is the symbol, moving very nicely during the past week. There's rumors that Russia wants to take action against the U.S. because of the recent restrictions that the U.S. has put on Russia. They might cut off the availability of enriched uranium. So that has a positive impact on all the uranium stocks.
But even before this, we saw the little bottoming formation in those uranium shares. Even before this Russian story just hit the last few days. So, according to your work, there's a seasonal event here taking place as well, right?
Yep. The seasonality for uranium stocks is very positive right into May of each year.
Okay, so we have a little play there coming up. So let's talk about the overall markets here. U.S. and Canadian prices continue to move higher until we hit a little roadblock here on Friday. So how's it look?
Yes, a very, very strong week last week on both U.S. and Canadian on average. Most companies did report higher than consensus earnings, and stocks did respond to that. The key is that next week is going to be even more important because next week is the busiest week for the reporting of U.S. First quarter results. Focuses on technology, industrials, and energy stocks.
And first quarter reports are starting to come in next week for Canadian stocks as well, right?
Yeah, historically, the Canadian earnings reports come in a little bit slower than the U.S. In this case, next week, they'll start to trickle in rather nicely. The focus is going to be on the energy and the gold companies here in Canada.
Well, speaking of gold, we just heard our good friend Ray Merriman talk about the possible strength in the dollar here in the next several months, which could impact gold. What's your feeling and what's happening in that gold market? It just can't seem to break out, though we have seen some relative strength in silver the last few days.
Gold and silver keep on trying, particularly gold has developed a long-term base-building pattern, and it keeps on hitting its head around that 1370 level. Eventually it's going to go. I got a hunch it's going to happen probably this summer, and that has a lot to do with what happens to U.S. equity markets after the end of April and after the first quarter reports are completed. That's in a midterm election year, U.S. markets have a tendency to have a problem. They tend to move lower from around the end of April right through until approximately October. Volatility increases and gold prices go higher.
And that pattern also applies here during a midterm election year as well?
Particularly in the midterm election year. This is the period from the end of April to October that is the weakest period for U.S. equity markets in the 4-year cycle.
So any other particular segments or stocks stand out in the few seconds we have left on that you'd like to cover?
Well, the energy sector, we mentioned this in the last couple of weeks, still looks very, very good. The consensus of earnings for the U.S. energy stocks will be up approximately 78% on a year-over-year basis, and initial suggestions are that that estimate could be low. So look for some continuing good action in the energy stocks in Canada and the United States.
What about crude oil itself? How do you read that?
Well, I guess Trump last week on Friday kind of did a little bit of a blip on it, suggesting that oil prices are too high. But OPEC is meeting, and OPEC wants to keep prices higher, and looks like we'll continue to see higher prices. On a seasonal basis, crude oil prices usually move higher right through until July of each year.
Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Don, it's great having you every week. Thank you again for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Don't touch your dial, folks. We've got a lot coming up on the show here. We have Eric Haddock hopefully joining us, Henry Weingarten, and my good friend Harry Boxer, and hopefully Sinclair No. Thank you again for tuning in to Wall Street Raw.
You're You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. 800-667-9035. That's 800-667-9035.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, April 21st, and we had a busy show for you today, and it continues, and we have a couple of very exciting guests here for you here on segment 2, maybe even 3 if we can get everybody online. My first and very special guest is my good friend Eric Haddock from the Inside Track newsletter. And just saying up front, if you want more information on that letter, you go to InsideTrack.com, and you have to spell inside with 2 I's, so it's INSIIDE track.com. Eric's been doing this for decades, been a regular guest on our program, and has always very provocative and interesting views, particularly on the long-term cycles. Good morning, Eric. Thank you again for joining us.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so here we are. Big sell-off in February. Some say that was the canary in the coal mine warning for a big bear market. Others saying that it was just a correction in the ongoing bull market. Let's take a little bit of perspective here. Where do you think we're headed?
Well, I think in many respects it could be the canary, but that doesn't preclude a retest of the highs and that any larger sell-off waiting till a little later in the year. But I do think that there are some warning signs that definitely came about from the last sell-off. And I also look at some of the international indices, which really were kind of the trigger back in mid-2015 to early 2016 when we had a decent sell-off. It was with China's Shanghai Composite losing 40 to 50%, and the Euro stock selling off pretty sharply back then, and we've seen kind of similar things where they both of those indexes dropped to critical 1 to 2 year support with this last sell-off. So they're kind of right near a breakdown point, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them consolidate above that for a little while.
And let's jump on the other favorite subject. We just covered that on our previous segment, gold. Can't seem to break out above that 1370 area, and silver's trying, but can't seem to break out as well, though it's showing a little relative strength. Any feeling there?
I do think that gold is going to break out above that sooner rather than later. It has, the tests of that area are now coming closer together, which is kind of a market that's like a coiling spring that's ready to kind of surge ahead. Right now, it looks like we're going to get a little bit more of a pullback before the next test of that. But I think the next time we head back up to that 1370 level is when you're going to see gold break through. And I've got some intermediate cycles out on the near-term horizon that could really time that breakout.
Eric, I want to thank you so much. We had a bunch of guests, and we want to make sure we got you in on this Saturday morning. Eric Haddock from Inside Track newsletter. Again, if you want more information, go to InsideTrack.com with Inside spelled INSIIDE. Eric, have a great weekend, and thank you again for squeezing us in here on a Saturday morning.
Thanks. You do the same, Mark.
Thank you. It's Eric Haddock. So let's see here. I don't know what else we have on the line. Do we have Harry Boxer? Harry, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. Very kind to squeeze us in on a Saturday morning before he takes off on a big trip. Harry, tell us what's happening. I see Bitcoin on the move here.
Yeah, we're trading at GBTC. I'm waiting for this little coil that is developing intraday after a gap. Taking a quick look at it, GBTC up 94 cents. Oh, I just broke out as we're talking. And right at the level where it needs to really push through to get up to near 15 today. It's trading at 14.59 right now, and we bought the first pullback this morning around 14.30. So it looks like that maybe it's making higher highs. If you take a look at the last 3-4 days, it's really come off the lows nicely from 10 and change all the way up to 14.5. Now, if you look at the overall chart, after a 5-wave massive move up earlier in the year, it's come down in 5 waves and now made a higher lower outlet recently. Formed a big wedge pattern. It's actually broken the wedge, and right at the 50-day, right now, as we talk, the 50-day is at 14.50, and the price is 14.59. So we may be getting a breakout. My targets are about 15.5, 3/4, 16.5, 17 zones, something like that. And then we'll see if we get a bigger run. We can get it all the way up to 2021. That's my swing target.
Okay. Harry, we're going to let you run because I know you're headed on a trip. I just want to make sure I got you on the show here. We got a lot of guests lined up today. This is Harry Boxer. If you want more information, go to thetechtrader.com, thetechtrader.com, and have a safe trip, Harry. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for squeezing us in. Thank you. Our good friend Henry Weingarten's on the line, and you can't complain saying we don't have a bunch of guests on this program today. We got everybody on board and eager to move forward. Henry, you got back from China. Thank you again for joining us.
My pleasure. Well, the big thing for us is whether we're going to sell in May. And we've decided we're going to sell in May 2019, but we're not so sure we're going to sell in 2018 May. That is to say, certainly under 26,000 again in the Dow. So we're somewhat range-bound here. There's a lot of mixed circumstances, very good for trading, but overall we're not that inclined. I mean, we did our hedging before, and now we're mostly unhedged, and we're probably going to stay mostly unhedged through apparently the summer, or at least we get to 26,000 again on the Dow.
Wow. So most are concerned that the correction has started, sell may go away, and you're pretty much in the opposite camp. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm a contrarian. I'm moving in Libra, so I very often like to do things differently.
How did everything go in China on your trip, by the way?
Fantastic, very well received, and of course the astrology is much better received there than it is in the U.S. and Europe. But no, we're doing very well. The interesting thing, we have a lot of very good stories we're dealing with. We're working with New York Mining Week, which is second week of May, which is just starting out this year, but it's going to be as big as PDAC within 3-4 years, or in many sense. We have a bunch of companies in the royalty space we like a lot, in gold and basically in wind and solar, and we're even dealing with crypto that we like. So things are sort of interesting.
All right, we have about 30 seconds or so. I know you like a new crypto coin coming out, Blackcoin.
It's called Blackcoin, B-L-A-K, not B-L-A-C-K coin. And it's one of the 5 cryptos I would deal with. Basically, we think Bitcoin is going to be shorted in June. So if you own some, I suggest selling some. And if you want to stay in the crypto, this is one of the 5 you want to own. But Blackcoin has just started, was just opening today. So we recommend, do some due diligence on it if it's appropriate for you. But the issue is security, and most of these things are not very secure.
Okay. And Bitcoin itself, so you say may have another month or so of a rally.
Maybe it will. I mean, 8,000 is the pivot point. I don't think it's going to get past 10 or 11. May not even get much past 9. But we have nothing to say. But once it hits June, especially as we get to the summer solstice, we expect to see it below 5,000. And it's certainly overvalued substantially.
Great. I want to thank you for joining us. Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. If you want more information, go to afund.com. And glad to have you back, Harry. And Henry, I'm sorry. Great. I'm glad you're back from your long trip. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, don't touch your dial, folks. Hopefully we'll be able to reach Mark SKOUSEN, a very special guest here on segment 3.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw, and we're really excited to have a very special guest, one that we had on last year about this time, Mark SKOUSEN from Chapman University. He's a professional economist, financial advisor, university professor, and author of more than 25 books on economics, personal finance, and investing. And he writes his award-winning financial newsletter, Forecasts and Strategies. And most importantly, he may agree with me or not, he produces the annual Freedom Fest conference, which was really exciting. I attended last year and look forward to doing so again this year. And we're going to talk about Freedom Fest. And good morning, Mark. Thank you again for squeezing us in on a Saturday morning.
My pleasure. I'm really excited about our upcoming conference. It's our theme this year is where is the voice of reason, which is a good question in today's upside-down world with every crazy thing happening out of Washington and internationally and so forth. It's going to be a great conference.
I know last year with William Shatner there, it was just unbelievable. I mean, that was like one of the exciting events of my life. I got to tell you personally, Mark. I mean, just meeting Bill Shatner and just hearing his presentation. So you guys really put together a terrific show. So let's talk a little bit about who's going to be on board this year.
Right. So we have George Will, who is considered by the Wall Street Journal as the most powerful journalist in America today. And we also have Judge Andrew Napolitano coming in to talk about all the legal issues that are going on in the world. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we have some top experts talking about cryptocurrencies. It's really going to be fun. In fact, we're actually having an emergency session at Freedom Fest because of all the shakeups going on in Washington with the trade wars developing, international tensions with North Korea and Syria. There's a lot of things going on that we have Steve Forbes and we have John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods Markets. Senator Mike Lee just confirmed. We have Andy Puzder coming, who was supposed to be the labor secretary under Trump. He's coming and speaking. So the list goes on and on for all the different great speakers that we have this year.
Yeah, I see Larry Elder's going to be there, and I'm a big fan of his and his Fox appearances and his radio show. And let's see here, of course, you got Doug Casey and Jim Rogers. Boy, it's really, really spectacular.
Yeah, we have Robert Kawasaki, too, who's authored Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which has sold 26 million copies, and that's going to be fun. We also have a lot of debates. As you know, Freedom Fest is famous for its debates. Our mock trial this year is going to be public school system on trial. So we are putting together the critics of the public school system and the NEA defending the public school system. So that's going to be a real interesting event. And we also have the New York Times coming for the first time that's going to be covering us. So we're hitting the big time in terms of the media coverage.
Last year you were an actor, Mark. I saw you as Benjamin. I saw you portray Benjamin Franklin. Are we doing something like that this year?
Well, Jennifer Grossman, I think, is coming back as Ayn Rand, but I think Benjamin Franklin's going to take a break in the action this year. But that was a lot of fun. In fact, we had coverage from CNN on that. It was nice to talk about the voice of reason. One of the things that we're doing with that topic is we're discussing the age of reason, the age of enlightenment. We're going to have a discussion about faith and science. Are they compatible? We have some representatives of both science with Michael Shermer and Dan Peterson from BYU who are going to talk about science and faith. And we're also, by the way, we're having a big question. Should we dedicate a room to Hugh Hefner, Mr. Playboy? Mm-hmm. And so it's a debate on whether we had a cultural advance or moral decline as a result of that whole debate. Were women liberated, or were they taken advantage of in the sexual revolution? So that'll be an interesting debate.
Yeah, I'm sure the Hillary Clinton situation is going to come up many times in that discussion.
Or Bill.
Well, Bill and Hill, the both of them right there. Right, we talk about setting standards.
And Donald Trump, for that matter. I mean, the whole Me Too movement is a major issue that we're going to discuss. And one thing that Steve Forbes said it really well. He said, Freedom Fest is the conference that I attend all 3 days. It's not his own conference, but he's a big believer because that's where the best ideas are discussed and debated and strategies are coming out of it. And that's why people should come to Freedom Fest. Our dates are July 11th through the 14th. And we're at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas, so it's an intellectual feast in the entertainment capital of the world. And people can get $100 off if they use the code EAGLE100. EAGLE100, the number. They can get $100 off the the registration piece. So if they go to freedomfest.com, that's where they can find out all the information, all our speakers, panels, debates. Our Anthem Film Festival is a very popular event. There's so much going on at Freedom Fest that people have a hard time deciding what to do. There's so much to do.
Yeah, that was the experience I had last year. Your head spinning. There's so many things going on and so many events and so many speakers. Folks, it really is an unbelievable event. I've known about it for many, many years, and I'm embarrassed to say last year was my first year that I actually joined the event, and I love it. I just loved it. It was just so inspiring with so many great guests, many from the conservative and libertarian movement, which obviously I'm very sympathetic to. So again, folks, if you want to get more information, freedomfest.com, Mark. That's the website, right?
That's correct, and get $100 off if they use the coupon code EAGLE100. That's the code for that, freedomfest.com, and it's July 11th through the 14th in Las Vegas at the Paris Resort. And I should mention that John Mackey, who's the CEO of Whole Foods Markets, is going to do a special presentation there. He's going to talk about his own investment strategy, which is rather unique since he depends on that rather than any kind of a salary from Whole Foods Markets. And he has some pretty interesting insights on that. So we have some really remarkable investment conference there, a 3-day investment conference that people will be very interested in. So there's just all kinds of things going on, and it'd be great to see you there and another couple thousand people.
Thank you very much, Mark. Mark SKOUSEN from Forecasts and Strategies newsletter, and also from Freedom Fest. And again, if you want more information, folks, go to freedomfest.com, and I'll be there and hopefully doing some interviews as well. Mark, I really want to thank you for taking time on this Saturday morning, and we'll see you at Freedom Fest July 11th through 14th at the Paris Resort in Las Vegas.
Great. Thank you. Take care.
Listen, folks, really a super event, Freedom Fest. Economics, politics, a little bit of spiritual in there. I really encourage you to go there. I'll be there. Maybe we're doing some broadcasting with a radio show as well. Don't touch your dial, folks. We're going to be back after the break with our final segment with our good friend Sinclair No.
You are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to My Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com. Or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-261-9818 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-261-9818. Again, 800-261-9818.
Hi, I'm Rick Osick, president of Famous Footwear. Every new parent dreams of bringing their baby home for the first time. But some babies are born too sick or too soon to come home right away. That's why Famous Footwear supports the life-saving research and programs of the March of Dimes, the leading nonprofit organization for pregnancy and baby health. Help us give every baby a fighting chance so that more babies can come home healthy. Learn how at marchofdimes.org.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Thank you for tuning in on this Saturday, the 21st of April. And we had a jam-packed show for you here today, and I want to thank all our guests for taking the time. And our very special guest, Sinclair No, is here in the green room waiting to join us here. And I want to remind all of you that he has a great website called eatthebankers.com, and I use it all the time. Great content. And he's also been for couple decades or more the financial commentator at KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and we just love having Sinclair on the program. Sinclair, thank you again for taking a few moments.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Well, we're going to jump into one of our favorite subjects, Wells Fargo, which hit the news again this week. It seems to be in the news just about every week, and I know you have pretty strong views about Wells Fargo and where that company really should be and where some of the principles should be. But I noticed this past week the U.S. regulators proposed to Wells Fargo pay about $1 billion in penalties. Is that just pocket change for them, or is that a serious penalty?
Well, it's a little bit more than just pocket change, but it's not really $1 billion either. But let's start with the official introduction to this segment. Banks behaving badly.
We need some music.
we got to work on the intro.
Yeah.
Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency announced a combined fine of $1 billion. Actually, it was $1 billion from the CFPB, $500 million from the OCC. They combined it together and called it $1 billion. This goes back to Wells Fargo basically sticking people into auto insurance when they would take out auto loans, whether they had auto insurance or not, doing it without the customer's approval. And a lot of folks lost their cars because of these extra expenses that were just shoved down their throats. In addition, it deals with mortgages. In a closing, if the closing was dragged out, they would charge clients extra money to keep the interest rate locked in, even if the delayed mortgage was the fault of Wells Fargo.
not getting everything together in time. So that was another thing that they were doing there. This is completely different, by the way, from their fake account scandal where they just opened up accounts wherever the heck they wanted to. Now, one of the interesting things you ask is this pocket change. Wells Fargo says the penalties will reduce their first quarter income by $800 million. And you're thinking, well, how does a $1 billion fine only reduce their income by $800 million? We're not totally sure at this point, but I would say that they're going to take a tax write-off. In other words, they're going to put about $200 million back onto the taxpayer to help them pay the bill for them. We can thank them later. Don't worry.
Anyway, they have Wells Fargo's got some other interesting things going on, Sinclair. They apparently, according to your blog, they got some financial ties to gun makers and the National Rifle Association, which that's right. Let's talk about that story.
They've been providing monies to gun makers, conducting banking activity with gun makers. They've had some agreements with the National Rifle Association and the American Federation of Teachers, I believe it is, AFT, if I recall. Teachers union, about 1.7 million teachers strong. They said they tried to contact Wells Fargo and say, look, we want you to divest yourself of the gun makers and the NRA, and if you don't, we will no longer consider you, a preferred corporate entity with the AFT, and we'll tell our 1.7 million strong teachers not to do business with you. And Wells Fargo just didn't respond to that. They said, no, we're not interested in talking with you about anything like that. So the teacher says, okay, we're pulling our sponsorship deal with you. That's that.
Okay.
I guess they have the right to do that. The teachers have the right to do that. The bank has the right to do that. They don't want to deal with that issue. They don't have to. Go ahead and do whatever you want. You just lost 1.7 million teachers, though. Wells Fargo is just a big mess. One of the funny things, though, is that this is really the only fine that it's a fairly large fine. It's actually considered a record from the CFPB, and it's kind of strange because the CFPB has been stepping back in pretty much every other way that you can imagine. For example, they recently just dropped complaints against a payday lending group called NDG. It's a group of 21 businesses, and they had been charged with running a cross-border online payday lending scheme in Canada and the U.S. Basically, they would try to skirt state usury laws against excessively high interest rates, and by apparently setting up the loans in some way or form in Canada. But then they also had some collection issues as well in the U.S., and this had been going on for quite some time. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau just decided, well, we're going to drop that. I'm not going to do anything about it. Interesting, one of the lead attorneys for the payday lenders was a guy named Stephen Engel, who is now Assistant Attorney General at the U.S. Justice Department. He was actively representing the payday lenders until a day after he was sworn into the office of the Justice Department. So there's that. The CFPB at this point, I'm not sure what they're doing, but apparently they decided they would go after Wells Fargo. That's the only thing they're going after, and they hit them with $1 billion fine. And if you think it's going to change the way Wells Fargo does business, I've got a bridge to sell you. Because I just don't think... As you know, Wells Fargo is under control to some extent by the Federal Reserve. They say they can't grow. They can't increase their capital base until they get their controls and regulations under order. And so they're basically sitting there unable to grow because they've messed up so much. And this is just a bank that I don't see why they're in business anymore. I can't imagine that there are more ways for them to be dishonest and be unfair and abuse their clientele any more than they already have. But apparently they're too big to just take apart. Although I don't see why. I don't know why. If any of us as individuals were to do these things that Wells Fargo has done, we would be in jail at this point. Wells Fargo continues to do business. They're getting fined. They're getting taxpayers to help pay part of their fine. They can't grow as much as they want to grow, but otherwise keep going, no problem. It's the craziest thing going.
Well, we know the powers that be just don't want to shut down the banks. I mean, we just know that. So I guess it's never going to happen.
And they don't want to shut down a particularly large bank at that. I mean, this is a big bank, but it really should be broken up. However, part of the problem is if it was broken up, it'd probably just be the bits and pieces would just be acquired by one of the other big banks. So it's almost fruitless at this point to think that we can break up the big banks. That has been proven that it's just not going to happen.
Sinclair, we only have a few seconds here. We have the Fed meeting coming up May 1st and 2nd, and the Beige Book came out. Briefly, what's the picture there?
The picture there is we're starting to be concerned about inflation again, and we're seeing that with the flattening of the yield curve. It hasn't moved over to the point where we're seeing an inverted yield curve at this point, but we are seeing a flattening. Federal Reserve is becoming more and more concerned about inflation. We are seeing it on many levels. We're seeing it in commodities in particular. Oil prices, as you've probably seen, have been moving up. Even if you're not following the oil market specifically, you see it at the pump.
Sinclair, thank you for joining us.
Are having an impact as well.
Sinclair, thank you for joining us. Sinclair No from KFN and 1510 Phoenix, and we'll talk to you next week on Wall Street Raw.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.